my name is Maria Vasquez.
Andrea Seward.
Lisa Miller.
Rhonda Messer.
Peter McDonald. Ned LaFortune.
Julie Spain.
Tamar Russell Brown.
Henry Tessman.
Dean Massarella, Mayor for the City of Leominster.
Hi, I'm Steve DiNatale. I'm the Mayor of the City of Fitchburg, and I have the pleasure and the opportunity to speak to you about the importance of the Chamber of Commerce.
We're really lucky to have such an active Chamber of Commerce, one that's really at the cutting edge of whatever issue it is for business.
They helped us when we first came into the New England area gain contact and build relationships with the local community.
I've been really fortunate to do some small business coaching with the Chamber.
And I also had the privilege of being a speaker at one of the women's events last year where I got to speak about my expertise in social media marketing.
The Chamber has been such a great tool for my team and me to network not only with businesses that we can collaborate, but businesses that then become clients.
They assist us with press releases as well, publishing our events on their website, which we love.
This is something that I had to do. It was something that I needed to invest in myself in so that I could get all the opportunities and the benefits.
I can actually see the difference in my workflow when I am doing and attending Chamber activities as opposed to when I put it to the side.
They've also given me some great opportunities in catering with other members of the Chamber.
It's a great group of people. It helps to enhance business, and we do a lot of sharing of best practices.
We love their events. They do events all the time. It's one of the most organized chambers I've ever been a member of.
I think a lot of folks think that things happen by osmosis. They don't. They happen by hard work. They happen by people having a vision and working to fulfill that vision on behalf of our district and our residents. And we're thankful for the Chamber and the Development Corporation for assisting in that endeavor.
And I learned that not only am I going to get trainings, I'm going to get business coaching, I'm going to have opportunities to network and to get referrals, but I'm also just going to get a community that really supports me in what I'm doing as an entrepreneur and as a business owner.
We also worked with the Chamber early on when we weren't a big enough company to get our own health insurance. Fortunately, the Chamber had put together a program where little tiny businesses could come together and get the buying power of a bigger organization.
Our Chamber is a collaborative, participative body that I couldn't do without. Roy Nascimento and his staff do an outstanding job in promoting my interest as a city mayor, but also the interest of the region in general.
I was inspired by this group of individuals that were coming together and just doing amazing things to help local business. So I really wanted to be part of that.
And I have to say they're great ambassadors for businesses. Every time we open a new business, they're there, not just one or two, but a whole contingent of ambassadors for the Chamber of Commerce. So can't say enough about them, and we're really lucky to have such an active chamber.
You know, I've been in Congress now for over 20 years, believe it or not, and I've had dealt with many chambers. This chamber is exceptional, and the people who are part of the chamber deserve a lot of credit. We would not be here today without the leadership of Roy and his team.
And if anyone is out there and you're thinking about why you should join the Chamber, for all of those reasons. You get the coaching, you get the learning, you get the trainings, and you get referrals that actually pay you. Because we all have gifts and blessings that we're meant to give out to the world and to use, and we might as well get paid to do them at the same time.
I highly encourage that you join the award-winning North Central Mass Chamber of Commerce.
Choose North Central.
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 Good afternoon, North Central. Make a little adjustment here. Well, that was certainly the most dramatic lead-in to an event that we've had so far. I thought that was fantastic. It gives me great pleasure as the chairman of the chamber to see so many people in attendance here today, including, as we were talking about a minute ago, a lot of new faces, which is really great to see. I think it speaks volumes about the chamber and, more importantly, the impact that we have as business leaders when we all work together through this organization. The North Central Mass Chamber is an important element in the fabric of our region. The chamber is an unwavering advocate for the interests of the region, and my business is proud to be involved in helping this chamber advance the region and our economy. Before we go any further, I'd like to do a couple of thank yous for the video that was just played. The staff of the chamber came up with this idea and the experience here today, but it was to help tell the story of the chamber And interestingly, it was done entirely on an iPhone. I'm an Android user, but I've got to give some kudos to the iPhone because that was certainly stunning. We think they did a great job of celebrating the work of the Chamber and affiliates, and I'd like to put a special thank you out to those who participated in the video. Those were from the heart, most of the comments, other than at the end there, giving a little pitch for our North Central. So I think that's fantastic, and also like to thank Dave Oster from FATV, who helped do the editing for it. So appreciation to all of them. I'm very proud of this organization for both our tremendous accomplishments and for the many relationships we're building to the benefit of our businesses and to the region. None of our accomplishments would have been possible without the support and commitment of our members. Collectively, through this chamber, we can accomplish what none of us can do alone. On behalf of the entire board of the Chamber, I thank you for your attendance today and ask that you continue to support this chamber as we make progress towards many of the new challenges we will face as a business community in the coming year.
Thank you, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see such a great crowd here this afternoon. Before we continue into the next portion of the program, I just wanted to share with you some exciting news that we received late last week. First, a little background. Last fall, our Chamber's Board of Directors voted to pursue National Chamber Accreditation through the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Chamber Accreditation is the only program of its kind in the country. It is a voluntary self-evaluation program which recognizes excellence in chamber planning and performance. To achieve accreditation, a chamber must demonstrate quality programs, clear organizational procedures, and effective communications by meeting minimum operation and program standards in the areas of governance, program development, government affairs, and technology. I want to acknowledge the Chamber's Board of Directors for their support of the Chamber undertaking this important self-improvement process. I think it speaks volumes for their commitment to improving our organization for the benefit of our members and our communities. I also want to acknowledge the staff, the professional staff of the Chamber. The accreditation process took over 6 months, and the staff was deeply involved in this process in addition to their normal responsibilities, putting together the programs and the work we do around economic development. But they compiled volumes of materials that were required by the accreditation board and demonstrating the competency in the 9 core areas ranging from finance to communications. We challenged ourselves to improve our chamber, and I can attest that going through this process has already made us a better organization. We've made numerous improvements, tightened up some of our policies, and adopted numerous best practices. As a result of all of this hard work, I am very pleased to announce that the National Accrediting Board awarded the North Central Massachusetts Chamber of Commerce, our chamber, with 4-star accreditation for our sound policies, effective organizational procedures, and positive impact in our communities. This is an incredible honor and places our chamber in the elite status of chambers in our country. Of the 7,000 plus chambers of commerce throughout the United States, only about 250 are accredited in recognition of their performance and the work that they do in their communities. Here in Massachusetts, there are only 3 other chambers that are accredited, and 2 of them are in Greater Boston. We are the only chamber now in central Massachusetts that is accredited by the National Accrediting Board. I am extremely proud of this organization and the work that we do day in and day out, making a real difference for our members and our communities in North Central Massachusetts. This accreditation and other recent honors that we have received only motivate us to remain engaged, active, and innovative on behalf of the business community here in North Central Massachusetts. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank all of you for your support. It may sound a little trite, but the Chamber is truly a team effort. We are only successful because of the support and commitment of so many of our members and so many of you that are here today. In North Central Massachusetts, I've been here 3 years, and I know from my short time here that North Central Massachusetts is a very special place with an extraordinary record of business engagement and leadership. Thank you for your confidence in us. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your engagement, active engagement in our organization, and thank you for allowing us to reach this level of national recognition. Now, this is the perfect segue to the next part of our program, my favorite part, the presentation of our recognition awards, where we recognize a few of our members that have helped us become such an elite chamber. And we want to thank some of the volunteers that lead some of our various committees and are involved in the chamber. Individuals from a variety of companies dedicate their time and effort to actively participate in policy development and program planning. It's because of this continued effort that they deserve our thanks. These people have devoted countless hours to our chamber and our communities. They've helped make us one of the top chambers in the country. We have many people to thank, but at this time, in the interest of time, we're only going to recognize 5 individuals for some special recognition awards for their support and commitment to the chamber and the advancement of North Central Massachusetts. I'll ask our chair of the board, Mark Freeman, to help me in presenting the awards. As I call your name, please come to the stage to be formally recognized by Mark. In an effort to move this along and keep the program on schedule, we move along pretty quickly on the presentations. Our first presentation is to Michelle Hagstrom of Sapphire Properties. Michelle, will you come up, please? Michelle has been chairperson of the Chamber's Sales Leads Group that meets twice monthly. Michelle is a great advocate. Is a great advocate for the program as well as the business connections made within the community. Thank you, Michelle, for all the support this past year. Next, we thank Jim Adams of Enterprise Bank. Jim Adams, will you please make your way to the stage? Okay. Jim Adams chaired our scholarship committee. The scholarship committee supports our annual scholarship fund by reviewing the many applications we receive and selecting winners. Jim has been on the committee a number of years as part of the Adams Family Scholarship, and this year stepped into the chairman's role. Thank you, Jim, for all the work that you did this past year. And that scholarship program, by the way, is a phenomenal program. The chambers and our members have given out over $1 million in scholarships since we started that program. Next, we wish to thank Al Rose of Red Apple Farm. After many years as chairman of the Tourism Development Committee, Suzanne Ferrier stepped down, and Al Rose, who was serving as vice chair, stepped into the Johnny Appleseed Trail Association as board chairman. Al has been a great supporter of JADA and the tourism work that we do. And Red Apple Farm also hosts the annual Appleseed Country Fair on Labor Day weekend, a big undertaking which our tourism affiliate is very involved in. We're pleased to have Al chairing the JADA board this past year. Thank you very much. Look forward to working with you in the future. Next, I'd like to welcome our Ambassador of the Year, Lawrence Nafor. Lawrence, will you please make your way? Our Ambassador Committee is a very special group of advocates for our chamber and region. This small group of volunteers act as an extension of the chamber staff. Lawrence is the business manager of Mount Wachusett Community College, and he joined the Ambassador Committee last year and has excelled since that time. He is truly dedicated to all he does within the community, an attribute that has made him an asset to the committee. He regularly attends events and ribbon cuttings, makes phone calls to welcome new members or to check in with existing members. Lawrence goes above and beyond for the chamber and our members and our community. So thank you very much, Lawrence, for everything. And our final presentation is to a man who has dedicated 6 years to the advancement of North Central Massachusetts and to the Chamber of Commerce. Doug Peterson of Workers Credit Union, will you please join us here on stage? Doug Peterson Doug joined the Chamber's Board of Directors in 2013 and saw us through a period of transition. Doug has always been a staunch supporter of the work of the Chamber and its affiliates, and this year he has completed his term on the Board of Directors and is coming off. During his tenure on the Chamber Board, he's also served in a variety of leadership roles, including chair of the board, Vice Chair and Co-Chair of the CEO Selection Committee. The Selection Committee, by the way, that hired me, so thank you very much for that. So, and if you didn't like the decision, then you can blame Doug. So thank you, Doug, for your leadership and unwavering support over the last 6 years.
Thank you.
There are many, many other people that have volunteered their time to make North Central Massachusetts a better place, and we want to thank them. Unfortunately, we can't thank you today because we'd be here all afternoon, but in the interest of time, we want to call everyone, we want to just call your attention to the screens. We appreciate everyone's support and commitment. Complete list of committee chair people is now on the screens and in your programs, and a special thank you to all of our committee leaders. And that concludes my portion of the program, and I'd like to turn it back over to Mark.
Thank you, Roy. Next, we'd like to recognize and thank the Leadership Council of the Chamber. These community leaders dedicate themselves to furthering the North Central region each year. The names of those serving on the council are printed in your program on the tables. Thank you, everyone on the Chamber Leadership Council, for their support and input this year. And now my favorite one is I'd like everybody to join me in a big round of applause for the Chamber staff. Come on, staff, where are you? Stand up so everybody can see you. Here we are. They're hiding in the back. They certainly make my job easy. They really, we have such a great staff, and it really contributes to accreditation and all the other wonderful acknowledgement of what a great chamber that we have. The chamber just has a small staff of 12 professionals. They're all deeply committed to the mission, and all have been a tremendous resource to our membership and to the community, and I'm sure most of the people in this room have had a positive experience working with all of them. This year, we'd like to especially recognize Diane Burnett, who's been with the Chamber for 20 years at the Visitor Center. Congratulations, Diane. So next, I'd like to introduce the Board of Directors of the Chamber for the past year for their dedication to the Chamber's program and events. Without their guidance, our many accomplishments would not have been possible. I'm going to call each director's name, and I'm going to ask you to stand, and if you could all hold the applause till the end, that'll be great, because we're running out of time, and it's a long list. Neil Abramson, ECI Stores. Will Obashan, W.E. Obashan. Wayne Canty, Heat Trace Products. David Duval, Protective Services. Steve DeVarney, DeVarney Jewelers. Matt Fournier, Elite Construction and Design. Mark Freeman, Steel Fab. Ken Gurge, Law Offices of Kenneth W. Gurge. Richard Lapidus, Fitchburg State University. Ann Leader, Vision Payroll. Christopher McCarthy, Fidelity Bank. Anthony Mercadante, Mercadante and Mercadante CPAs. Stephen Mullaney, S.J. Mullaney Engineering. Doug Peterson, Workers Credit Union. Steve Roshlow, Roshlow Tool and Die. Henry Tessman, Great Wolf Lodge. James Vanderhoeven, Mount Wachusett Community College. Deb Weymouth, UMass Memorial Health Alliance Clinton Hospital. That's all. Thank you. So that's the entirety of our expiring board. In early June, per the bylaws, we submitted a ballot to all of you in the membership and elected the following individuals to the board of directors for new terms. Starting next month, and please again stand as I read your names: Neil Abramson, ECI Stores. Will Obashan, W.E. Obashan. Matthew Fournier, Elite Construction and Design. And Rachel Lopez, Resource Management Incorporated. And also myself. Thank you. I'd like to thank all of those who have served and those willing to serve on the board, and also thank you to all the members of this year's nominating committee, which was again chaired by Rick Healy, president of Foster Healy Real Estate. Thanks, Rick. At a board meeting earlier today, the following individuals were elected to serve as officers in the balance of the Chamber's Executive Committee for the upcoming year. Please stand as I call your name, and once again, please hold your applause until all the names have been called. David Duval, Protective Services. Anthony Mercadante, Mercadante and Mercadante CPAs. And then President and Clerk, Roy Nascimento. Treasurer, Steve Rochlow, Rochlow Tool and Die. Vice Chair, Deborah Weymouth, UMass Memorial Health Alliance, Clinton Hospital. Chair, Steve Mullaney, SJ Mullaney Engineering, and myself as immediate past chair. Thank you. Before we conclude the business portion of the meeting, I'd like to confirm my responsibilities to our next chairman, Steve Mullaney of SJ Mullaney Engineering. Steve, can you join me on stage? It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve as chairman of this great chamber over the last year, especially during such an exciting time when the chamber has accomplished so much for the benefit of our region. I thank you all for the opportunity. I've greatly enjoyed my time here as chairman. As I mentioned, the chamber staff is awesome, the board is great, so it makes this job really, really easy. While I'm passing along this gavel, I'll still be on the board for a few more years, and I'll still be here participating in the community and other events and running our business. I encourage you to join me and remain committed to the chamber in all the years to come. Thank you. Now, the gavel.
Thank you, Mark. As a tribute to your outstanding leadership, the North Central Massachusetts Chamber of Commerce would like to bestow this chairman's chair to you with your dates of leadership inscribed on it. Congratulations, Mark. At this time, I would like to adjourn our business portion of this meeting and introduce our keynote speaker. Maria Milagros is a speaker, an author, storyteller, and empowerment life coach. Whether sharing her life experiences and knowledge through impactful tasks, workshops, leadership training, life coaching, or videos, Maria uses stories to bring encouragement, education, and love to empower others to get out of their way and break free from any hindering thoughts or beliefs so that they can live amazing lives and leave their unique and positive mark on the world. She knows that no matter where you come from, what you've been through, or what you have done, love, connection, and personal responsibility can change every area of your life. She knows because this has worked for her, and she likes to remind others that she is not an exception to the rule. If she can do it, then you can too. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Maria Milagros.
All right, first I just want to thank Roy and Maria. Does that say thank you on the screen? How about now? All right, because I can't see it, I thought I would be able to see it. I want to thank Roy and Maria and David and Matt and Lauren and all the people over at the Chamber who asked me to come today and to speak to all of you. And I take this very seriously because time is our most valuable asset. And so I don't like wasting time, so I'm not going to waste yours. But I am going to share some stories because I love stories. I love the power of stories. I love that stories remind us that we're not alone on the planet and we're not alone in our experiences. I love that stories connect us and they motivate us and they inspire us. I love when you shared your story, and I love sitting at the table and listening to Professor Greenwood share his story, and I just love the power of the story. So I want to start here. And it's not a coincidence that, did it change? There it is. It's not a coincidence that I'm starting with history, and in the word history is the word story. When I was in the 8th grade, I grew up in the Bronx, and that's in New York, for anybody who doesn't know. And we had a history teacher, and this history teacher would tell us every single day that he had to leave his really nice house and get in his really nice car and drive away from Connecticut to come to the ghetto to deal with us, because nobody else wanted to. And he told us that he would drive all the way there, and they would pay him a lot of money, but it wasn't enough to have to deal with the likes of us. And he said, let me tell you about your history. You're going to repeat it. So some of you are poor, and some of you have parents who are in prison, and some of you have, you're dealing with AIDS, or there's gangs in your neighborhood, and there's violence, and that's where you're going to end up. Just so you know, that's where you're going to end up, and that's going to be your story. And every single day, he would start off our history class by reminding us of our history and telling us who we weren't going to be and who we were going to be, based on where he was and how he saw the life in the world. So after a while of hearing this story again and again and again, you start to believe it, and then you start to become it. So about a year later, we moved to Massachusetts. My mother, there was a boy who got shot crossing the street to his mother in the middle of some gang violence, and this 8-year-old boy is laying in a pool of blood, and my mother said, not my kids, they're gonna live. So she packed us all up and moved us to Massachusetts, and our grandparents were here. And so we all moved to Massachusetts, and when we got here, I remember the first night, because this, compared to the Bronx, was country, right? So the first night, I was trying to sleep, and I'm used to loud, booming speakers lulling us to sleep at night. I'm used to like ruckus, and that's a lullaby for us. And there was this small, annoying noise. And I'm like, Ma, what is that? And she said, those are crickets. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, those are crickets. They live out here because there's trees and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, how do people sleep? And so she said, put on the music, go back to bed. And see, I was in this brand new environment. I was in this new place. But I was the same, because I took my story from the Bronx and I brought it with me. So it wasn't long before I found myself standing in front of a judge in juvenile court. And that judge said, you have two options, Maria. You either do 40 weeks of anger management with probation or 6 months of DYS lockup. And I felt lucky because I got an option. So I went with the former. I took the 40 weeks of anger management and the probation. Not too long after that, I ended up, this is what I wish he would have said. Learn from your history, but don't live in it. Yeah, he didn't teach us that. So not too long after that, I ended up going to Monty Tech, and I had this amazing literature teacher. I mean, amazing. On the first day of class, this woman came in and said, do you know the power of your story? Do you have any idea that you can write your own story, that no matter where you come from, no matter where you live, no matter what kind of car your parents drive, or if you take the bus, you get to write the rest of your story and change the course of your history. Now, this was very different than what I had just learned. This was very different than the life that I was actually living. Wait, I get to choose. I get to decide. And she said, yeah, you get to decide, because you don't have to let the facts of your past become the precursors of your future. And that changed everything for me. And she said this day in and day out. And you know, when you hear it enough, you start to believe it, and then you start to become it. And one of the assignments that she gave us was for us to write our obituaries. Yeah. And she said, here's the thing. What is your legacy going to be? What is your story going to be? When it is all said and done, who will you be remembered as, and what would you be remembered for doing? And I remember when I wrote this, I thought, yeah, I'm going to change the rest of my story. So I came to you today to remind you that when you write the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold the pen. Not only did I let my history teacher hold the pen, but all the other naysayers in my life and everybody else around me who told me what I could and couldn't do and who I could not be. Everyone else held, I didn't even know where the pen was when I was in that phase of my life. And it wasn't until this moment that I went, okay, hold on. I'm going to do something a little different here. You have to write your story. And the last week I went into the chamber and I recorded a little video for them, and when I did, I said to Maria, I need something to write on. Just give me like a scrap piece of paper. And she said, no, I have something even better. And she went in the back and she came back, and you all have these in your bag, and she pulled this out of plastic. You know, I don't know about you, but I like new things. And she pulled this out of plastic, and I'm like, this is so pretty. And I thought, she didn't even know that I'm gonna get up there and talk about writing your story, and yet she gave everyone a place to write your story. Coincidence? I don't think so, because I don't believe in coincidences. And so the first thing that I did, I cracked this bad boy open and I wrote a couple of lines about my story. So I'm gonna encourage you, write your story. What is the story that you're gonna tell about the rest of your life? So here's the thing, perhaps you're human, and perhaps you've experienced some setbacks in life. Maybe you've had some setbacks in business, or maybe financially, or maybe personal relationships. Maybe once upon a time, you found yourself in front of a judge. Maybe. But you get to decide when you're writing your story if that's gonna be the end and the entirety of your story. Or are those obstacles actually opportunities? That's how I like to see it now. I say to my daughter, there are certain words that are not allowed in our house. We don't say problem. We don't have a problem, we have an opportunity to tap into our resources, to see how resourceful we can be, to figure out how brilliant we are, how creative we are. We get to solve that, because the reality is if we didn't have things to solve, we will be bored out our minds. How can you prove how brilliant you are if you never have to use your brilliance, right? We have to write our story. There it is. I love this line. If you're not willing to change your life story, then don't expect the story of your life to change. Ooh, that's so good, I'm gonna say it twice. If you're not willing to change your life story, don't expect the story of your life to change. We get to decide. We decide every day with our actions and our interactions. And I know this, if I can turn a clean page and write a brand new story, then I know that anyone can. I know that if I can take my life from that, woulda, shoulda, coulda, to here, to this moment, anyone can. So what's the story that you're gonna tell about your life? What's the story that you're gonna tell about this moment moving forward? Right here, yeah. So who are you? I love this part. Did you know that there are 7 billion people on the planet, and you are the only one of you that ever has been, ever is, or ever will be? There's no one on the planet who will ever look like you, have your DNA or your way. Not ever. Did you know that before you were even born, your fingertips are fully formed and they're exactly the same for the rest of your life, proving how unique you are before you're even brought into this world? Did you know that when you're in utero, every time you blink, you form the shape and the creases and the lines of your pupils? Did you know that that's evidence that how you see the world actually creates who you are? Did you know, I love this right here. See this number? Does it cut out? Yeah, it does. That's how long that number is. 1 in 500 trillion. 2 years ago, I found a study that said the chances of that egg meeting that sperm and having that baby, that's you, and being born and then living past the first year of life is 1 in 500 trillion. If that is not a confidence booster, I don't know what is. So you're telling me that the chances of me being here are impossible? And yet we choose instead to, rather than see the miracle that we are, we live mediocre lives. Can we be done with living mediocre lives and writing mediocre stories about who we are when the reality is that we are 1 in 500 billion, trillion, even better? Business Insider, this study was published last week. It's actually 1 in 400 quadrillion now. With infertility being what it is, and famine and things that are happening in this world today, if you are still alive today, the chance of you being here is 1 in 400 quadrillion. That's not even a real word. And yet, we choose to write other people's stories as if they're our own and try to live those. We forget that we're 1 in 7 billion and we want to be a carbon copy of number 564,612. There's only one Beyonce, y'all. Let her go. This is a reminder that you're already here. You're already valuable. You are already worthy. You are already everything. You are, each and every one of you. It proves that we are here on purpose and with a purpose. Not one human on this planet or in this room is a mistake. Don't you dare think otherwise. I can't help but pause and think about the losses that just happened recently in the news. You know what I'm talking about. And these two people, unfortunately, were never told, or at least didn't write their story, tell it enough to believe it and become it, that they are here on purpose. And you are here with a purpose. And you are worthy, and you are valuable, and I need you. And I need your stories. And I need your stories to be yours. If you're not willing to change your life story, then don't expect the story of your life to change. Starting today, we're going to write a new story. You have fancy new journals. You're going to write a new story. Every moment is a fresh start and a clean page. So what's the story that you're telling about who you are? What is the story that you're telling about your success, about your relationships, about the people you work with and deal with? What's the story that you're telling about your community? What's the story that you're telling about what's important to you? What's the story that you're telling about your legacy? You have to decide what that story is, and you have to keep telling that story over and over and over until you believe it, and then you become it. This moment, I want to talk about this moment right here, right now. We are here in this moment as a part of a celebration. But it's not just a celebration of business. No. This is a celebration of accomplishment, of leadership, of the completion of one thing and the start of another. It's the celebration of community, of the North Central Massachusetts area and its resilience to thrive. This is a story of greatness that cannot be quantified. This is a story of each and every one of you. It's a story of each other. This is a celebration of you and all that you have to contribute to make this world, this space, this place better by your presence and by your contribution. So from this moment forward, what will your story be? What will your legacy be? I want you to literally write it. Not right now. I'm not going to do that to you. But I do want you to literally write your story, and then you reverse engineer your life. That's what I want to, when it is all said and done, I want to be remembered as this, and I want to have done that. And then you live your life reverse accordingly. Will your life legacy resemble the doom and the sadness of my history teacher? Because I'm sure there's nobody like that in this room. Or will it resemble the hope and the dreams of that literature teacher, who everywhere she went, she reminded other people of their greatness and what they were capable of? What's your story going to be? And you have to tell it until you believe it, until you become it. Here was my story before. I'm a victim, I'm angry, I'm depressed, and I'm justified. And I told that story. I told that story to anybody who would listen, and I told it over and over, and I told it in my actions, and I told it in everything that I did, and then I became it. And it's what landed me in front of that judge. Here's my story today. And by the way, we get to tweak, change, and adjust our stories as often as we want. So here's my story today. This is what I wrote in my book. I want to be remembered as the woman who believed in everyone, who looked for the good in all situations, who gave out free hugs. And if you knew me in the past, you'd be like, yeah, right, Maria. I give out free hugs now. Who danced in public, who lived a great life filled with happiness and laughter, and who was a curator of hope and love. And here's the thing. I started practicing telling this story, and then I started to believe it, and then I became it. And this is my story. And I bring it to my work, I bring it into my relationships, I bring it into every area of my life and into everything that I do. So let me remind you that you are everything. You are already valuable and worthy. You already have so much to give. And the best way to give it is as yourself. Tell that story. Tell that story again and again and again, because you have nothing to prove.
So I know you're thinking, okay, Maria, I want to write my own story, and I really don't know how to change my life. Thank you for asking. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to help you because that's my job, and I'm a life coach, and as such, I can't have you walk out this room without 3 handy-dandy, action steps. There are literally hundreds of tips and techniques and tools, so I'm going to give you 3. That's it. That's all you get for today. And you're going to put them in your pocket, and you're going to take them with you. And this is what they are. Right here, 3 ways. The first one is this. Your words have power. Make decisions that are going to tell the story about the rest of your life. Make decisions from that place. And then affirm yourself over and over and over. We have to get better at not looking at other people to tell us how fantastic we are. You are 1 in 400 quadrillion. Like, seriously, what is that number anyways, right? So that is who you are. You have to remember that. If you write nothing else, if you capture nothing else, remember that. And that alone is reason for you to show up every day. And when you show up, I mean show up. And you have to affirm yourself. We have to get better at saying kind things about ourselves, about letting ourselves off the hook, about looking at our mistakes as learning opportunities. Our failures, yeah, that happened. You know what I learned from that? That's not a problem, that's an opportunity. We have to get better at using our words accordingly. As a matter of fact, I'm about to put you all in an awkward situation. Everybody stand up. True story. This is not awkward. This is a character building experience. All right, everybody put your hands on your hips. And you're gonna stand with your feet, like about shoulder width apart. Very superhero-like. You feel that? Yeah, you do, because you're all smiling. All right, I'm gonna say an affirmation and I want you to repeat after me. This is how easy it is. I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am capable.
I am capable.
I am brilliant.
I am brilliant.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am the creator of my life.
I am the creator of my life.
Like you mean it. I am fun. I am responsible.
I am responsible.
I am grateful.
I am grateful.
I am one of a kind.
I am one of a kind.
I am important.
I am important.
I am valuable.
I am valuable.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
I am here on purpose.
I am here on purpose.
I am meant for greatness.
I am meant for greatness.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. I am enough. Nice. Give somebody a high five and take a seat. Doesn't that make you feel good? And what'd that take? 30 seconds? It was 30 seconds of you saying, I am. That's your story. Those are the things you need to be writing in this journal and repeating to yourself over and over again, because those are facts and those are the truth. And when you say it enough, you start to believe it, and then you start to become it. Second thing, what's good about this? Now, this is the moment where I plug my TED Talk. True story. So if you haven't seen it and you want to understand where this particular catchphrase comes from, you go ahead and watch it. Do yourself the favor. I promise you won't waste your time. But I will say this. Every situation in our lives has something good in it. Every single situation. When I think back about the reasons why I was so angry and the abuse that I endured as a child, even there, I made myself find good. We can find good in everything. You have tough customers. Those are just people who need extra love. You have a boss who makes you want to choke him or her. Not that that's anybody in this room, I'm sure. You know what that is? That's motivation to step up your communication skills or to find a new job, right? There is something good in everything. Everything, every moment. And we can go real basic with it too. I want you to think about right now in this moment, 5 things in your life, real quick, that you're grateful for, that make you smile, that make your day better. 5 things. I'll give you mine. My daughter, this opportunity, Shakira, chapstick, and indoor plumbing. True story, right? It doesn't have to be these huge, grandiose things. It's in the little things in our everyday lives that make our life more magical.
that make the quality of our lives better. We get so caught up in what we don't have that we miss out on the magic in what we do have. Lord knows you won't find me without chapstick. And if you do, I'm at Walmart buying chapstick. It's the little things. We have to remember that when we're writing our life's story. And if your life story means when I achieve, then I'll be happy. When I marry, then I'll be happy. When I complete, when I accomplish, then you're going to die that way. There is something good in everything. And you can start to just think about the little things in your life that make you feel good on a day-to-day basis. And I'll tell you what, I said think of 5 things, and there wasn't a face in this room that didn't have a smile on it. 5 things. That's it. And here's the last one. Bring the juice. So I'm one of 6 kids, and I'm the oldest girl, which technically makes me the oldest child, right? So let's be real. Let's be real. Thank you. See? They know. So I'm the oldest girl, which makes me the oldest child, and we have these family gatherings, and when we all get together, my youngest brother, this was a few years ago, he didn't have any kids at the time, he had one job. Dude, when you come to the party, all you have to do is bring 2 things of juice for the kids. That's it. You just have to show up and bring the juice. That's your only job. And homeboy is 6'5", and he eats like it's nobody's business. That's fine. Just bring the juice. That's it. So he showed up. We're all in the kitchen cooking and getting ready, and he showed up at the door juiceless. So you know, we didn't have to say anything. We gave him this face. And he literally he reversed backward up. When he got to the stairs, he turned around, he walked down the stairs, got in the car, and drove off. And I said, well, either he's going to get the juice or he's not coming back, right? So he went, about 20 minutes later, he came back. He came back with so much juice. Like, there's not even that many kids. Everybody gets 2 gallons of juice. Like, what are you doing? He's like, y'all will never look at me like that again. And then it made me realize, I said, when we show up in our lives, when we show up with our kids, when we show up at our jobs, when we show up with our friends, are you bringing the one thing you're supposed to bring? Are you showing up and bringing the juice? And what does juice do? It refreshes. It washes down. It makes you feel lighter, right? Are you showing up with what you're supposed to show up with? Or are you just showing up to take from the party? Are you showing up just to be there? When we show up places, we get to figure out and be intentional about what we're bringing to the party. And life can be a party. I tell you, life can be a party. And I'm not just talking about Shakira. I'm talking in general. Life can be a party. So I always say to myself when I'm about to go somewhere, what's my job? What am I bringing? And for me, Maria, I'm bringing some fun and I'm bringing some love. And if I'm not in the right place, I better go get what I need to get and go back down and sit in my car and figure it out until I get myself in the right place so I can show up with the juice. So when we're moving through the spaces in our lives, you want to write a quality story, bring the juice. What is it that you're supposed to show up with when you arrive at that space, at that interaction, at that relationship, and bring that? And I think about my daughter, and I think about if I had a long day at work, or if I had a stressful meeting, I'm not bringing that to her. That's not fair. I'm gonna take my time, I'm gonna drive slowly, I'm gonna listen to Shakira in the car, that's real. I'm gonna reset myself, and so when I show up, I'm bringing the juice into that space as well. Because I deserve a good life, because I'm meant for greatness. And if I am, then you are, because we're all made of the same stuff. So I'm gonna ask you, when you write your story, fill your pages. You take those beautiful new books and you fill your pages with your decisions and your affirmations. Fill the pages with your gratitude list and all the things that make you smile. Fill the pages with all the reasons that you have to celebrate, including this one. Fill the pages with your people that I love or people who love me list. Fill your pages with the truth about who I am list. Every moment is a fresh page, blank and ready for your pen, for you to write your story. I want to wrap up by reading this spoken word piece that I wrote for my sister a few years ago. And I realized after I wrote it that I wrote it for her, but I wrote it for me. And then I realized that I wrote it for you. Just in case no one told you lately, you are amazing.
You were birthed via a miracle where flesh and blood, bone and muscle, brain and heart formed the perfect you. This amazing human, a one-of-a-kind, unique and intended, you are amazing. Just in case you had a hard time lifting something heavy today, do not forget that you are strong. Your body, yes, the muscles that encase your bones, yes, but the core, the very core of your being, strong is your soul, resilient and resistant, capable of taking up sword and shield and plunging into the great wars of your life to bring down your enemies. You are a fighter in the face of fear. You are an overcomer of obstacles. You are a snake slayer and a dragon demolisher. You had the courage to show up, to be, and to be transformed because you are strong. Just in case you mispronounce a word or misunderstood something that someone said, please know that you are intelligent. Knowledge of the universe resides in your spirit from birth. You see, intelligence is not just about computing scientific quandaries or solving mathematical numbers. It's about the knowledge of what's moving around and within you. It's about the awareness of connection between the people and the particles we share this planet with. Intelligence and creativity live in you, vast as the stars. You illuminate the galaxy. Whew. Just in case no one gave you permission, you get to operate in your greatness. You, like the elegant eagle, sovereignly soaring the bellowing blue skies, cutting through turbulent trials, destined for nothing less than greatness. When was the last time you saw eagles hanging out with chickens? Never. Because you see, they have no place there, pecking at the ground, their wondrous wings pigeon-pinned to their sides. No, you, the elegant eagle, deserve a life that resides on mountaintops. You are the master of the sky, symbol of victory. You greatness. And just in case you don't own a mirror, I'll be the one to tell you that you are beautiful. Your freckles, your scars, your bruises, your bumps, your eyes, your perfect, perfect nose, your lips, your hair or shaved head, your flesh, your perfect pigment, plucked from the palette of extraordinary color, you are beautiful by design. Just in case you got it twisted, the only real standard that exists is the one you choose to subscribe to. Just in case you didn't read it in a quote somewhere, what other people think about you is not your business. Just in case the world starts to feel crowded, please remember that you get to take up space, and so does the person next to you. Just in case you can't hear it, your voice has power. Know that you are capable of hitting octaves that shatter glass or annoy dolphins. It can sound louder than any malicious words from your past, than the whispers that may haunt your nightmares or your daydreams. Speak to your true self of your true self and speak it over and over and over until your voice is the only voice that you hear, until you believe it and then you become it, because your words have power, so use them wisely. Just in case you turned around before you could see the ripple effects of your actions, you are powerful. You, like the ocean, everlasting waves crashing to the surface, bringing a tsunami of destruction or a wave of beauty and life. You get to decide. Your decisions are powerful. Just in case someone lied to you, you are worthy of all of life's abundance, of peace, of joy, of laughter, of happiness, of success and or money, of health and wholeness, of love. You are worthy of love, love that impacts your thoughts, changes your life, pushes you, challenges you, inspires you, and makes you feel so full that you're bursting to share. You are worthy because you are love. Just in case you haven't figured it out yet, just in case you've been misinformed, your story is not your own. Pain is not meant to be contained. Deconstruct your house brick by brick and share your story. Pass one brick, and soon the only thing remaining will be the foundation, and then the only place to build is up. So get up, look up, step up, because someone needs to hear your story, so get it ready, just in case. And just in case you didn't put it all together yet, you're already rich. Look inside your treasure chest that runneth over with amazement and splendor. Tell your story. Tell your story until you believe it, until you become it. You are amazing and strong, intelligent and creative. You are greatness and beauty and power and worthy and love. And I stopped by to remind you, you know, just in case. So I want to just wrap up by saying this. Keep telling your story. Keep telling it over and over, but you have to write it first. From this day forward, using this day as a jumping point, what will the rest of your life look like? What will the story that you tell be? What will the legacy be that you leave behind? Will you be bringing the juice? Because this community needs you in all of your fullness and in all of your glory, exactly as you are and as you grow and learn, because you deserve a life that's filled with purpose and happiness. So thank you to all the graduates, ambassadors, and community leaders. Thank you to all the local businesses represented here today. Thank you to the North Central Massachusetts Chamber of Commerce for another awesome year. And congratulations to all of you for showing up, for yourself and for each other, for writing your story, for making a positive impact in our community, for being the one-of-a-kind humans that you are, and for being intentional about writing a new story, a legacy that will change the course of all of our history. Find me after. Free hugs for everybody. Thank you.